Welcome to Coruzant Technologies, home of the Digital Executive Podcast. Welcome to the Digital Executive. Today's guest is Angel Ribo. Angel Ribo, known as the CEO Confidant, is an influencer, LinkedIn strategist, international TV host, public speaker, CEO consultant, board member, and philanthropist. In the last 21 years, Angel has empowered more than 1,500 CEOs in 33 different countries. He was born near Barcelona and has lived in 8 countries and speaks 5 languages. Established entrepreneurs and corporate CEOs hire Angel to bridge the gap globally for expansion and exposure. Angel sits on the board of the Evolutionary Business Council, an organization with more than 350 global transformational leaders with a combined reach of well over 600 million people. Well, good afternoon, Angel. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Good afternoon to you and all the audience that's listening to us today.
Awesome. Amazing. Thanks again, Angel, for jumping on. I know we chatted offline, and LinkedIn's a great tool to obviously chat and connect with people, but thank you again. And we're going to jump into the questions here. You've got quite the career in leadership as a board member. You're an entrepreneur, and now you're the CEO Confidant. Could you share with our audience the secret to your career growth and what inspires you?
Yeah, well, the secret would be probably like, I've always felt myself like the citizen of the world, literally, all those travelers that go everywhere. And I've always adapted fast to the different places I've done business. I've lived in like 7 or 8 different countries, and I've relocated and I've moved around and I've moved from house to house, from city to city so many times that for me, conducting business internationally was like second nature. And, there's people that have been all over the world. I've only done business in probably 33, 34 countries. But I would say that always this inside belief, very strong belief that I could really literally go everywhere, anywhere to help anybody. This willingness to really help each other. And obviously I was working for many different large corporations, but always like feeling that I could do anything and I could help anybody or I could help any company to make a business decision, right? So that's probably the secret, the secret of my career.
Amazing. I appreciate you sharing that. I think that's exciting. And the fact that you've traveled all over, originating out of Spain, like we talked about earlier, and just moved all over. So that's awesome. So Angel, as you know, everybody globally has had to make these major shifts to adapt to this new normal. Could you share with us what you're doing to help your organization stay relevant in this economy?
Yes. Number one, I think that you have to give trust and certainty. Not trust, but confidence. We use the same word in Spanish. And I think that the way to do it is that having lived and having been in so many places, I am in permanent contact with people from most of those countries that I have done business in, mostly the Americas and Europe. So I think that's the first thing. When people start cutting on, on traveling because of the restrictions, when people start thinking about what am I going to do on that particular market. So I've really kept myself extremely available, I would say, extremely available to everybody that needed my support, needed my advice. That's one thing. The second thing is pivoting. Everybody has tried to reinvent themselves. And I have used my influence online, mostly on LinkedIn. I have used it in order to help organizations so that they could be literally piggybacking on my influence so I could help them have additional exposure. And let me tell you an example. I'm very active online. I'm very active on LinkedIn. I have as many of probably of the listeners right now, thousands and thousands of connections. Since the 2016, when I started my own company, I always was very concerned about, very mindful about, keeping my connections warm, which means that I really didn't want to just drop anything to them or at them. So this caring for my connections has helped me use these connections to help my future clients. So I literally have been able to help companies to have let's say a softer landing through what started to happen last year, and being able to capitalize on those assets that I had already developed before has really, really helped me a lot. I think that throughout our lives, we develop something called relationships with people, and we should do a much better job keeping them alive and using them for our own good and also for the good of our, business partners, even vendors, when things come to worse, like, what happened last year.
Absolutely. You hit the nail on the head there in stating earlier about keeping your relationships, your colleagues, those connections warm, right? Because you don't know when you need those, and vice versa, right? We're here to help each other, especially in these challenging times. So Angel, are you currently leveraging any new or emerging technology within your business? And if not, is there any cool tool or app that you're using you might be able to share with us?
Well, probably I would say that the main change, I wouldn't say if it is, this kind of technology, but I have started to use streaming like broadly. I mean, I have been live video broadcasting all over the place. That's one thing I've done that I didn't do so much before. So I have been going out to 15, 20 different platforms at the same time and sharing influence with many people out there. That's one thing, which is more like a technique and maybe the rationale behind using the technology, because streaming technology has been available. The second thing I would say is that I have been able to build a nice, I would say, back office system. And I have been integrating different systems. So I have been integrating my CRMs, my scorecards, my dashboards, my email system, and everything, using, Zapier and those kinds of technologies. So I've been able to automatize everything that I was doing in the back end. So that has helped me a lot in order to save time and also to be able to have my team focus on what is more important, which is adding value to our clients. So those would be probably the two areas in which right now I see definitely where technology has played a key role for me in the last, I would say, 12, 16 months.
Amazing. I do too leverage some of those technologies that help streamline and automate some of the processes that allow you to focus on the higher level tasks. So thanks for sharing that. Our audience would appreciate it. And Angel, of course, last question here, but this is really what our audience, they like to know a little bit more about Angel Ribo. Can you share something from your career experience that would be helpful for those looking to grow their career in leadership or entrepreneurship?
Yes, I think that the most important thing I would like to share, because I have seen it, through this, given the current state of affairs in the world, I have seen like never before fear all over the place. And that has, that's a very, obviously, with everything that's going on, I understand it, but I think that we have forgotten that we really have unique talents and we really have the unique ability to thrive in the worst of times. And I'm saying this now because obviously it's very relevant, but throughout my entire life, traveling all over the place and having been exposed to so many cultures and so many companies, working with more than 1,500 companies and helping them with many different areas, I think that you have to really do what you say you're going to do. And that would be, like my number one piece of advice. So make sure that whatever it is that you say that you're going to do, so you stay credible all the time, you keep it until the very last minute. When I started working with either a C-level or an entrepreneur, and we started considering different options like go-to-market, mostly what I do is business development and marketing. When we talk about that, I always tell them, hey, start taking action as soon as possible. In order to be able to go to a new market, to a new segment, to a new geography, it's extremely important that you start proof testing anything that you want to do. When you really do what you say that you're going to do and you take imperfect action immediately, imperfect action now, I think that you have the formula for success. You immediately know if something is working or not working, and you can take it from there. Actually, it's funny that you're asking me this because I was just asked to write the foreword of a leadership book just 10 days ago, and I finished it last week. When I was writing it, I was making a very strong emphasis on the fact that we have to look inside more than ever before. We have to look for answers inside of us. And I think that leadership means that, you're going to show everybody that you really walk your talk, that you're really going to do what you said that you were going to do. And you have to do that consistently. And again, it's a matter of going inside and not as much going outside. As soon as this book is being published, I will definitely let everybody know. But I think that we have forgotten to look inside as opposed to being impacted with what is going on outside of us.
Amazing. I appreciate the share on that. I think that's very insightful. And thanks again. I do appreciate your time, Angel. And last thing, Angel, it's just a pleasure having you on today. And I look forward to speaking with you real soon.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me. And thank you, everybody that was listening to us today.
Bye for now.